Hi, I'm Zoe. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to my NetGalley challenge series. It's been a while since we updated this vlog for two reasons. First of all, a truly YouTuber canon event occurred and I lost footage, which is... Am I a real YouTuber now? Because I've lost footage and that means a vlog got lost. Second of all, the last 3 books I've read for this challenge, I've DNF'd, which isn't great. To be honest. I think I already talked about the first one, so that's Workhorse by Caroline Palmer. That kind of continued with the next couple of books. What I'm hoping to do with this vlog is update you on the ones I've DNF'd, and then we're going to talk about what I'm reading next, and then hopefully I will pick the camera back up when I've read some of this book and we can talk a little bit about it and how I'm feeling with it. I'm really hoping that this one is a hit because 3 of these have been a miss now, and that just hurts my heart and is really demotivating me for picking things up off this shelf and getting them reviewed, which is then obviously delaying the success of this challenge, and I can't request anything else while that's happening. So we need to get a grip, we need to get on with it. As well as doing this challenge, I am reading all sorts of stuff outside of it. These are just part of my general reading rotation, and these next 2 books I have tried repeatedly over the course of months at this point to pick these up. First up, a genuine shocker to me, well maybe not a shocker, Girl Dinner by Olivia Blake. Olivia Blake is an author that I have had mostly a really great time with. The Atlas 6 and whatever the second book is. The Atlas 6 and the Atlas Paradox were 2 of my favourite fantasy books. The Atlas 6 particularly, I absolutely adored those 2 books. The third book I actually can't talk about because it makes me angry. It was so bad. I don't have words for how much that book hurt me. But with that, I've also really enjoyed some of her other standalone books. One for My Enemy, Masters of Death, even Alone with You in the Ether, which I would argue is probably her least accessible book in terms of writing. So I was really excited for Girl Dinner, especially with this the horror elements of it and the sorority cannibal thing, really intrigued me. I was like, that sounds killer. Literally, that sounds so cool. Even before I started this challenge, I had tried to read this book a couple of times and I just convinced myself that I wasn't in the mood, or it wasn't the right time, or it's not the book, it's me. It was the book. It was the book. I did not like it. I could not get in with the writing. The characters I found really frustrating. Even if I'm not meant to like some of them, I couldn't connect to them. The pacing was a little bit all over for me and it was just really, really difficult, and I just decided enough was enough. I'm not the problem, it's the book. Call it a day. So I did, and I said many more things about this book in my other vlog clip, but it's gone forever. So it is what it is. The other book that I had tried to read a few times was My Grandfather, the Master Detective. Two-pronged issue with this one. My feelings about the book, but also it was another one where the arc had so many letters missing and so many formatting issues. And I know this isn't the fault of the author. I know this isn't the fault of the book itself. It just makes for a really difficult ARC reader experience. Having to think about what letters are missing and what word this might actually be just adds to the mental load of reading a book, and I just found it so difficult to get past. That's one side of it. The other side of it, I like the relationship between the main characters. I love the idea of this grandfather solving these mysteries, and I love the detective element of it and all these things that they're trying to solve. I loved that in theory. In practice, I just found myself a little bit bored, a little bit repetitive. Again, couldn't find myself motivated to continue, compounded with the fact it was physically difficult to read. I even considered getting a physical copy because the cover's beautiful and in theory I should really enjoy this, and I just said no, we're not doing that. I'm not enjoying it enough. That was another one that I let go. And again, I said more before in my other clip, but it's gone. I do have another book that I have started, so The Elsewhere Express. I'm having complicated feelings about this one. I think I'm about a third or a halfway through this one. And I haven't desired to pick it back up since. I've read it across a couple of gym sessions where I was just doing treadmill, bike, whatever. And I just read this and I really want to like this one given the story and the idea of this magical train. And it's so surrealist when you kind of picture it in your mind, and the writing is really expressive and descriptive. And I don't know, I found that all very cool. But I'm kind of okay, but what's the point? And I'm really worried this might be another one that I DNF, because again, it's probably been 3-4 weeks since I've picked it up. And again, I have no desire to pick it up. So I'm I can't DNF 4. That's a third of the books on this challenge. I would feel like a failure to also DNF this book. So I'm in 2 minds about that. I asked on my Instagram stories for you to help me pick between 2 books. Let me grab them. And I say grab them because they both came with subscription boxes, which is just embarrassing for me at this point. So the 2 in question were All That We See or Seem by Ken Liu. This was in the Broken Bindings science fiction fantasy box. And then Coldwire by Chloe Gong, which was in the Fairy Loot YA box in December. Both of these were were kind of calling to me out the other books on the list. I asked on my Instagram stories. Coldwire, she won. You can go back. I was kind of pleased about this because I have enjoyed Chloe Gong's writing before. Her like Romeo and Juliet reimagining is so fantastic. One of my favourite duologies. This one's a bit of a different thing from her. This is more dystopian fantasy sci-fi. The vibes look really cool. This edition does a really great job of selling me on it. It is very sciencey, and we grab the end paper. Like, you can see the vibes are there. These are obviously two of the main characters. If you get the full box, you get overlays that go in the book. So you get these like overlays inside, which give you a little bit more of an idea of like the content of the book. There was one that I felt like was a vibe. Where was it? Yeah, like this one with like them. They're obviously plotting something in there, which is kind of cool. So this will be my next one. I will probably just read my physical copy. In terms of what's left on the challenge, we've got Coldwire, All That We See or Seem, and there's more of these that I can pull off my shelves because I have them. Dawn of the Firebird, which was a Fairy Loot adult pick, which is why I have a copy. And then the other two I've not mentioned are The Princess Knight and The Works of Vermin. I'll put those on screen. I don't own copies of either of those. They will probably just be ones that I read the e-arc of, because that's the point, isn't it? We're left with 6. Out of our original, was it 11 when we started? Update the chart, editing Zoe. So we've got 6 left, one of which I'm considering DNFing. I will take this opportunity now before I leave you for however long before I next pick up the camera, just to say thank you so much for watching. If you are enjoying this video, please do remember to like and subscribe so you can be notified when I upload more videos like this. Yeah, I will see you when I see you for hopefully an update on Coldwire and maybe an update on the Elsewhere Express. We'll see how we go. Okay, bye. Hello, it has been some time since I updated this vlog. I've literally just finished filming an intro for another series that I'm starting over here. That should be up before this vlog, I imagine. Essentially, I'm starting a series of challenges where I get through my Broken Binding subscriptions, which are all behind me and up there. It was really quite telling, getting all the books off the shelf. But it's another one where I'm just blind to it at this point. It's another one where I feel like I'm in denial about the volume. So getting towards the end of this challenge has kind of inspired me to get a grip and get on with this one. So, reading updates. I can't remember where I left the vlog with Coldwire by Chloe Gong, but I finished it and it was genuinely spectacular. This was so good. I did talk about this in my April reading wrap up, so I will have that linked for you as well if you do want to go see that there. I will also talk about it here because I just want people to read this book. I feel like we've been saying this for probably the last 6 months at this point, but dystopia really does feel like it's back in a really big way. This was such a fantastic, fresh dystopian book. For me, this felt very, very fresh and very unique. If you haven't seen my introduction video, I'll quickly take you through this book. In this world, the climate crisis has led a portion of humanity to basically spend all of their time in upcountry, which is virtual reality. This is an opportunity only really afforded to those who could afford the subscriptions and the wealthy and the privileged, whereas those who can't afford it are forced to live down country in this world that is increasingly decaying, getting destroyed. There's wars, there's all kinds of stuff going on. In the up country, that's not all sunshine and rainbows either. There is a cold war between two major nations, which is where our main characters find themselves tangled up. We have 2 points of view in this. We've got Ireli and Leah, who are both absolutely fantastic. Ireli works down country in Nile Corp's private forces, and she's framed for the assassination of a government official by the enemy nation's biggest anarchist, like public enemy number 1. She's framed for an assassination by him. He's called Nick, and he essentially blackmails her into working with him in order to find this really dangerous computer program, and in exchange he would then clear her name for this assassination that she did not do. Immediately there, you've got this working with the enemy trope. It was absolutely fantastic. The tension was so palpable. Their plot in particular was so wrapped up in secrets and mystery, and I was just so invested in finding out what they were hiding, particularly Nick. Like, what was he hiding? And my God, the payoff was beyond anything I could have imagined. I'm getting distracted. Leah. Leah is our other main character, and she's a student at the Nile Academy, so she wants to work for Nile Corp. Leah is our other main character, another point of view, and she is a student at Nile Academy. She goes between down country and up country, so she comes from one of these families that does a bit of both. For her last assignment at Nile Academy, she's forced to work with her academic rival called Kieran, which is another really exciting, really tense, really, I don't know, to me, just a very fun dynamic to read, and this was done so well. These two are essentially tasked to go undercover together in Midalo in order to track down a traitor to their nation, which is a Tarhwa, and everything goes wrong, as you can imagine. The way that Chloe writes her characters is genuinely fantastic. I love her Secrets of Shanghai, I think it's called, the The Romeo and Juliet retelling, fantastic. Such good books. Character work, masterclass. And this was just another showcasing of that. Her characters really shine in these stories. And what I also really liked about this was how researched and nuanced the story felt. Because this story focuses quite a lot on like the virtual reality, the tech, the AI as well. I feel like including AI in stories now probably feels like a bit more of a choice than maybe it has done previously. And I do think that the way Chloe included this in this story was so nuanced and really said something. It wasn't just in there as a gimmick. It really demonstrated the inequalities and the structures and the things that were going on within the society to raise some people up and bring some people down and to control more than anything else. I really enjoyed that, and the secrets and the corruption and the way the technology was being abused as well is so representative of what we're experiencing in our world, and the idea of virtual reality being the answer rather than facing the repercussions of a climate crisis. That all feels so real. That felt tangible as a reader, and that's what helped make this feel so immersive. Some of it was so sci-fi, so out of this world, brilliant, but some of it felt within reach. And I think that's what makes a really good dystopian fiction book, is that some of it has to feel like, oh, that could happen to us. For me, it has to. There has to be some part of me that believes that this is a dystopian version of our world. As I said, the dynamics between the characters was really cool as well. I don't really want to go into too many spoilers for that, because I do think I was quite surprised by the dynamics between them and how that was done. But you can read between the lines. You've got political enemies working together, and then you've also got these like academic rivals working together. Like, that is just a recipe for fun. For me anyway. And even with those being kind of similar, like they're both to a point kind of working with the enemy, but they still felt really distinct. Like the dynamic felt unique between Leah and Kieran and Ireli and Nick. Like it didn't feel I was just reading the same dynamic but from a different point of view, if that makes sense. It did feel incredibly distinct, and the tone was very clear as well. And you got that sense of history between Leah and Kieran and having always been these academic rivals. Whereas then you've got Ireli and Nick that have got this tension that is incredibly palpable, and you don't know why, other than the fact they're political enemies, but you get the sense that there's something more. And that carried the entire way through the book. It was so well done. I said this in my other video, the last hour of the audiobook, my jaw did not leave the floor. I really wish that I'd set my camera up to film the last hour. I had the audiobook on while I was doing a jigsaw puzzle, and I just remember like my arm starting to hurt because I was just holding a puzzle piece like this, like jaw like for like 5 minutes, because I could not believe what I was listening to. I will say the audiobook, really good. Really good experience as well. I was genuinely so surprised by this, and I don't know why I was, because I love Chloe Gong. I've really enjoyed previous books of hers that I've read, so I don't know why I was so surprised, but I just think with this being more sort of like the sci-fi dystopia and the AI of it all, I don't know whether that just made me a bit nervous, but this was genuinely fantastic. I had a really great time with it, and I would wholeheartedly recommend it. I was really excited to write and submit my review because, as you can see, I had a lot to say, which I feel like at the minute it's so rare that I feel compelled to really talk about specific things that I liked in a book, or like even writing notes. Like I just felt like I had so much I wanted to get out of my head and put pen to paper to talk about what I liked, and this was one of those where I just wrote paragraphs of, as I was reading, like different things that I enjoyed about it. So I'm very glad that I had this experience, and I have now submitted my review on NetGalley. This is another book done. And because I haven't picked up my camera in ages, so I'm not gonna lie, I've had a bit of a mental health wobble. All is well. I've just been a bit like, I don't know, a bit gross. I've just felt a bit mentally gross. It also probably helps that my reading's picked up a little bit as well, so I do feel a little bit better. I feel a bit more myself, which is a good thing. I have started, this is the dust jacket, the book's here. I have started All That We See or Assume by Ken Liu. I put a poll up and it was between this and Dawn of the Firebird and this one. So this was the next one I went for. As we're filming, I'm 38 pages in. Also, this dust jacket matching this book sort of is really satisfying to me. I'm like 38 pages in. I'm really, really enjoying this. This is another more sci-fi dystopia-ish leaning one, definitely more sci-fi forward. In this first little bit, we've met our main character Julia, who is this legendary hacker. A man has turned up at her house and has basically said, I need you to help me find my wife that's been taken. Shows this video of his wife, and in this world you don't know whether this has been doctored, this could be entirely fake. Like, technology's got so good you could fake the fact that this is a video of your wife being kidnapped. It seems that she's going to get dragged into this problem with him, and then we have just met another point of view that I think is potentially the people that are holding the wife or somebody to do with that. That's where I'm kind of going with this at the minute. My updates with this, I will keep them. I've just noticed that it's so dark in here now. I will keep updates with this pretty spoiler free. That's kind of where we are at the minute. That's pretty much synopsis stuff anyway. In terms of the writing, I'm really liking it. I was a little bit nervous for this because with Ken Liu, I've read The Grace of Kings, which is the first book in the Dandelion Dynasty, I really enjoyed. I think I gave that 4.5 or 5 stars. I really enjoyed that book. It's very dense and it was very pretty writing in a very dense setting. It was like a balance of the two. It was really good. It was just a lot to read, and I was kind of nervous that this would be similar, but honestly, the writing's really different. It's still got that essence of his writing, I think, but it is much, like, plainer, I guess. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I think this is maybe more palatable writing-wise, which is making it a little bit easier. I am hoping to make some progress on this tonight. My partner's working away and it's my night off the gym, so there's really no excuse. Once I filmed this and have my dinner, there's kind of no excuse to not just dive on in, get some more read. So we'll see how it goes, and then if I do get some read, I'll make sure I write my notes and I will come back and update you at some point in daylight, not this light, and I'm not dealing with this. This is awful. I will put on screen a graphic of where we're up to, because I've been really bad for updating these vlogs. As I say, we've not been in the right frame of mind to be updating a camera. Very excited to carry on with all that we see or seem. It'll also help towards my broken binding challenge, because it was a broken binding sub book. Kill 2 birds, 1 stone. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye. Hello, I may regret filming like this because I have just finished work, the sun has come out, and now heat is in my office, and I've been wearing a long sleeve all day because it cooled down today finally after this little heat wave that we've had at the end of May. It cooled down today, so I thought, I'll put like cosy comfy clothes on again. Wrong. The heat's back this afternoon and now I'm overheating. But it's fine now, I've finished work. I'm going to get changed before I go sit outside and continue with this. So I think last time I spoke to you, I just started All That We See or Seem by Ken Liu, and I am really, really enjoying this. So I am about 60% of the way through at this point, and this has proven to be a really interesting read. You know, it's good when I've got my notebook out as well, because I've been taking some notes. Oh my God, I nearly knocked my shame stack over. My heart just fell out of my body. Notes. This is a sci-fi novel, very tech, AI heavy. So far, we've met Julia, who is this legendary hacker, and she's been approached or found, I guess, by this man whose wife has gone missing. This man's wife is a really big name in the world of vivid dreaming. And vivid dreaming is essentially technology that allows people to dream together. Like, she creates these dream experiences that people can join in with. It's quite interesting, but she's a really big name in that. She's gone missing. Her husband is obviously really worried and hunted down Julia in order to hopefully get her help. Julia's really interesting because she's obviously very good at what she does. She's really, really tech savvy. And because of that, she's actually quite tech averse in a lot of ways. So she only uses what she can trust. And she doesn't trust a lot of these advances with AI and different tech and the dreaming thing she would never do. She doesn't trust what these companies are going to do with the data. And she doesn't trust the systems that are set up to protect people's data either. She doesn't trust any of that. It's kind of interesting, really, having that extra bit of knowledge provides her with that additional layer of fear, I guess, but not like unnecessary fear, like valid fear, because she's right, you shouldn't trust a lot of these companies. Any conversation here is going to be super light on spoilers. I'm just talking about some characters that we've met, nothing like big reveal or anything like that. We've also met somebody else that is involved in all of this, and he's a really interesting character in the way that he views Julia and the dreams. That's all I'll say on that, I think, for now, but it is very interesting. In terms of like vibes, aesthetic, genre, this obviously is very sci-fi forward, but it does also have this mystery element to it. But then also a little bit of thriller. There's kind of that like thriller undertone. You want to know what you're missing in the story. Like, there's obviously some pieces that even our main characters, as they're figuring it out, there's something they're missing. There's something else in this bigger picture, and why she is where she is. What other secrets is she hiding? Because as we get all these different reveals and her husband finds out all these different things, I don't know, it kind of adds to that suspense and the tension, which did give me kind of thrillerish vibes. So I thought that was quite interesting as well. What's also been nice is how much we've learned about Julia. All that you kind of know going in is that she's this legendary hacker, but the further you get into the story, the more you learn more about how she's got to be where she is and why she feels the way she does about technology, and the complexity for her of being a runaway, being the child of Chinese immigrants, how all that comes together to make who she is. And I think what I may be most enjoying is the commentary around technology and AI and ownership of data and ownership of technology. Some of it kind of comes back to if anybody's heard of the right to repair movement, it's this notion that we should all have the right to repair the technology that we buy. So certain phones and certain devices and certain companies in particular make it very difficult for you to repair your own devices, and you have to go pay their silly prices to get things repaired. So there was this right to repair movement. Anyway, some of what's talked about in this book was a little bit reminiscent of that, in that the further you get into these advanced technologies, the further away you get from being able to look after your own tech and repair it and understand it. And I thought that was quite interesting how that was woven in quite a natural way without it sounding preachy. But there's also a commentary on how technology has changed social relationships and how that links into this vivid dreaming. In this world, people don't really go out to socialise and meet people anymore. Like, I think the book references specifically like churches, offices, because people work from home or certain jobs have become obsolete. Like, it's interesting how it's also picking up on the social aspects that I think we're seeing now, and definitely have done in the last sort of 20 years, in the way that we socialise is totally different. So the book's also kind of reflecting and commenting on that as well. It's very apparent how the author feels about corruption in the US and how technology is embedded in that. That's very clear. And going back to Ellie, the lady that's gone missing, and her husband a little bit, it's interesting learning more about their relationship. The more they learn about Ellie through trying to work out where she's gone. There's just a lot of layers to this that are making it quite enjoyable. I'm not completely blown away by it, but I am definitely really interested, and I think I'm just holding my expectations back a little bit because I don't know how this is going to end, and I don't know what the big reveal is going to be. So I think I'm just kind of like trying to bide my time with it a little bit maybe and just see what happens. But I'm really excited. My plan is to go outside now while it's still sunny, but not too hot now, which is a relief. As a fair-skinned girl, it's nice that it's not 30 degrees anymore. So yeah, I'm going to go sit outside, read some more of this. I'm really hoping I can finish it today so I can kind of wrap this vlog up really soon, ideally, because of how this challenge is going, I feel like one more vlog would kind of do it. So I'm hoping I can get this wrapped up today anyway. But yeah, excited to see how it wraps up and to come back and update you at some point. Okay, bye. Hello, welcome back. I'm as surprised as you are, maybe. Well, you're watching this in edited time, but in real time, I'm very surprised to be filming again so soon. Because I finished this morning. I've genuinely had like the nicest morning. Got up, cup of tea, breakfast, went and sat outside immediately because the sun was out, but it wasn't like directly on the garden yet. So it wasn't super, super hot and sunny. So I could just sit outside and enjoy the little bit of breeze, the little bit of sun, watch the pigeons. I do love the local pigeons that frequent our garden occasionally. Sat down, locked in and read the rest of this, and I had a really lovely time. I have some thoughts. I am once again quite glad that I've been writing my thoughts down as I've been going. I think I said in the clip yesterday that I felt this had a bit of a thriller vibe to it, and I would 100% agree with my past self. If I was recommending this to somebody, I would describe this as a sci-fi thriller, and it may well be marketed that way and I've just completely missed it. 100% fits that vibe. And I think that really works. The plot itself was really enjoyable. The direction that it went in wasn't exactly what I anticipated, which is a good thing. I had a sense of where we were going and anticipated, I guess, that there would be some sort of twist to make it more interesting and a little bit less predictable. But honestly, it went off a little bit further than I thought it would. But I still felt very engaged and still had a really good time. Like the last third of this was quite hard to put down, actually. It was really interesting. Maybe a little bit more engaging than other bits of the book had been. I also don't think I said in the clip yesterday that the other character in this is Piers. So we have Julia, who's the hacker, Piers, who is the husband of Ellie. Ellie is the lady that has gone missing. I don't think I said his name once in yesterday's clip, so that's who he is. As I said, the plot itself, very, very engaging, very interesting. The writing I really got on with. I felt that even though at some points it was quite tech heavy, it actually was quite accessible for the content, I guess. I do think above all else for me, what stands out about this book is the commentary and what it's saying about technology and AI and a social media, digital age, era, if you will, where everything to a point is monitored. In this case, everything is monitored. And the way that for some people, that's just part of life and they just accept it. But then there are these people that don't accept it and fight back against it. And there's also the people that take advantage of people's willful ignorance in order to assert power to themselves and others and whatever interests they've got, but then also to take advantage of vulnerable people. In terms of the commentary and what the author's trying to say, I think I've said before already, it's very clear what this author's stance is. I do think that the take is very nuanced and very well researched. I do not think it's subtle, but I don't think it has to be. It's not subtle, but it's not annoying that it's not subtle, if that makes sense. I kind of enjoy how loud and poignant this book is. It's very pointed. You know exactly what the author and the characters in this book feel about certain things. Even the antagonist in this book, you know exactly what their thoughts are and their feelings are about this technological age and AI and its powers and its uses and the pursuit of power and the pursuit of power for others to their own gain. I don't know, it was just really well done, I felt. And I think that was what kind of made me sit back and realise how researched this was and how I think the tone just really worked for me. It all just felt very right, very clear. With a couple of the points of view in particular, you get this real sense of the power of information and how it can be used as a tool and as a bargaining chip and as, in some cases, a literal hold over people and power over others. And this obsession with being one step ahead, 10 steps ahead of other people and always having those bargaining chips in order to get what you want, but also to give people that false sense of security that you're giving them what they want. I don't know, it was just so good. There were so many bits to that were really, really strong. I think there was even smaller moments that I really enjoyed that I think if you're at all like a techie person, like my partner is super, super techie. He loves really nerdy, techie stuff. I'm not as like tech smart as him, but as somebody who's reasonably tech literate, it was nice to see some of those moments in the book as well, particularly with some of the, how do I say this without spoiling anything, robotics related stuff and like tech mechanics and things. There were some little things that happened in the book that I'm like, oh my God, no, that's exactly how that would happen. That's how that would work. Or that's like a reasonably new tech feature that we've got that we're now seeing implemented in a really fun, creative way. I don't really know how to describe it because there's a very specific scene that comes to mind, but I don't want to spoil it. I do think what I struggle to maybe connect with the most is the vivid dreaming elements of this. So Ellie and these dreams are really important in the story, and I do think there may be the moments where I felt the least stable in my understanding of what was going on, because it is a little bit it's more abstract than maybe some of the other stuff that feels a little bit more tangible. But I did like how they were used in order to get to know Ellie a little bit more, even though you don't really see her in the book because she's missing. And I also liked how they worked in Julia's journey in this, and I guess how her perspective on this mystery changed as she went forward with the search for Ellie. I think this is probably one I'll have to sit with for a little bit to decide how I truly feel about it. But I do think that the essence of what this story is doing and the, I guess, cautionary tale of it all is really palpable and really clear. And I guess that's kind of the easiest way to sell this is it's this sci-fi mystery thriller with a cautionary tale about tech, AI, power, being aware of your data and how it's used in this social media age. And we're in a world now where deepfakes and generative AI are so dangerous. And that features a little bit in the book as well. And I just think it is that cautionary tale. And I think if you're someone who's already got that awareness of a combination of a lot of things, really, in like corruption, full stop, in the political landscape, specifically for this book, corruption in the US, but then also how that all links together with this massive growth that we've had in artificial intelligence and smart tech everything, surveillance state, like all of those kinds of things. When all that comes together, if you're somebody that's already kind of wired to be aware of that, I think you'll really appreciate this. I, for one, feel quite satisfied reading this story in that because it felt so researched and nuanced, but also wasn't afraid to say the quiet thing out loud. I don't know, I just really appreciate that. And it's left me quite excited to see what happens next with this, because I do think this is going to be a series by the looks of things. So I am really looking forward to seeing what the author does and what more he's got to say about this, because I really appreciated his perspective that very clearly bleeds onto the page. I will probably write my review for this afternoon and get that uploaded, which leaves us with just 3 books left to read for this challenge. I'm very pleased with that. So that's probably one more reading vlog, to be honest. What we have left, I'll put on screen. We've got The Princess Knight, The Works of Vermin, and Dawn of the Firebird. I do already have an idea of where I'd like to go next. I do think I'd like to go into Dawn of the Firebird, just because I think that's what I may be in the mood for. So we'll see how that goes. I'm probably going to close this vlog off here. If you are interested in some more of my thoughts on this, I will be talking about it in another vlog series that I'm starting, another book challenge, because one is not enough, and we've nearly finished this one now. I'm starting a new series focusing on my Broken Binding subscriptions, and this is from their sci-fi and fantasy sub. So this will be the first book that I talk about in there, and I'm hoping by the time I film that, I can maybe have done a little bit more work to condense my thoughts a little bit, so I will make sure to have that linked once that is uploaded. I was really glad that this one turned out to be good, because we have had a few DNFs in this challenge, and that's been a bit disappointed, but it has been really good for me, I think, to see what has really piqued my interest and what hasn't in terms of these reads, and has made me think a little bit about how much I'm going to be requesting. And I will say there's only been 2 books where I've seen that they've gone live on NetGalley where I've been like gut punch devastated that I can't request them, because I really wanted to stick to this challenge. If you have made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching. I'm hoping this vlog at least had moments of interest for you. As I said, we'll have one more vlog. I anticipate that I'll probably go up in July, with there being 3 of them, and they're quite different as well. If you haven't done so already, please do remember to like and subscribe so you can be notified when I next upload a video. I can't remember the last time I did a little thank you for subscribing, but we are now well over 300 subscribers, which is so exciting considering I only started this little channel the end of last year. So I'm really pleased about that. Thank you for sticking with me. I hope to see you in my next video. In the meantime, happy reading. Bye.